Hi there, how you doing? I thought I would put together just a really quick PowerPoint to sort of walk through the logic behind my cash offers. Now keep in mind, these are my cash offers for distressed assets, things that are being offered by a motivated seller. They won't bank finance, there's time pressure, right? These are the kind of offers that I put together that, I'm going to get a hit rate or even a discussion kind of 1 in 20, right? These are not very common to just get accepted right away. But before I get started, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment or question. If you do leave a question, there's a very good chance that I will add it to my new series that I call Subscriber Questions. That's been a lot of fun doing those in the mornings when you all ask questions. So go ahead and leave a question or comment below. And as always, if you can help grow the channel by sharing it along, that would be greatly appreciated. So let's just get into the math and kind of the logic that I build out. So I'm going to first walk you through the logic, and then I'm going to actually give you a math example to make sure it's sort of concrete. So first thing you can always start with, it's kind of the easiest part of the discussion is, what do you think your property's worth if it was perfect, right? Sometimes you'll get people to throw out a number that's just insane. Most of the time they'll throw out what you've done in Zillow or Realtor or Redfin or whatever, and sometimes they'll just throw out a number that's maybe even a little low. But basically, you got to start somewhere. Then what we do is we start to have discussions, and this is where we're going to find out just how motivated they are, right? We've now done a walkthrough. At least you've gotten some experience with repairs, or you have somebody with you. You're not looking for the perfect number. Frankly, if you got within $5,000, it's enough for this estimate or this discussions. You also have to appreciate that in a cash offer like this, you are likely going to be flipping it, adding value, and selling it. So realize that you're going to have some selling costs on the back end. So make sure you don't forget about those. Something else I also always talk about is I expect my money to work for me. I do not need to use my money to pick up an asset. I'm happy to put it to use somewhere else, so that when I do this, I share that with them just because I expect my money to earn something. And then finally, I want them to make sure that I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I do expect to make some kind of profit. As they'll see in a minute, it's not a lot, but I don't work for free, and I don't expect my money to work for free either. So in the end, let's just pretend there's a $200,000 property out there that everybody agrees that's what the property's worth if it was perfect, right? Just again, we're going to keep the numbers around just to see what's possible. All right, so now for the repair costs, you've gone around, you've had discussions, you can get everybody to agree that, there's about $40,000 in repair costs. Again, we're not trying to be perfect now, we're just trying to be close enough. Selling costs. So again, selling costs, rough and tough's about 10%. You got 6% realtor commissions. You got all these other closing costs and taxes and all of that. Sure, could they grind me down to 9%? Yeah, probably. But again, we're just trying to be close, and again, we want them to understand how we're going to get to the number. I expect my money to earn money, as I've shared before, and will continually discuss with them. I expect my money to make at least 10%, or why would I do this? I could do some other kind of investment. And then obviously, there's going to be a profit. And in this example, I'll use $30,000. It's basically 15% of the purchase price, or the 200 grand. It is kind of my bare minimum, frankly. I think if you do a deal below that, you run the risk of one big mistake wiping out your profit. I don't do deals below that. Sometimes I've had deals come in under that when I'm all done, because I had extra repairs or I did the right thing and I added extras that maybe I didn't have to. But as you've hopefully seen by now, I do the right thing all the time, regardless of the impact. So, in the end, in this simple $200,000 property example, I wouldn't offer above 90 grand. Now let that sink in. Right, I'm offering less than 50% of the after repair value. And this is where you have to get confident in your math. You have to get confident in your number. You have to feel that you know what you're doing, right? And again, just walk through this math again, rewind the video, right? What's the after repair value? What's the repair cost? What's the selling cost? Do you expect your money to generate a return? And then what's the profit that you expect? So again, we walk through all of that. And then if you just add up all the cost, 40 plus 20 plus 20 plus 30, you'll pretty much realize that there's $110,000 you need to subtract from the after repair value. So again, the highest I would offer in this example is 90 grand. So again, these are only going to be situations where there's motivation, there's time sensitivity, the property's in distress, there's squatters, there's just issues, and the person wants out and they want out in a big way. Again, 99.99999% of the properties in the MLS won't qualify for this. These are the kind of prices you get when you are working with a wholesaler or you bump into a motivated seller at some event and you have a discussion, right? These are the price points that wholesalers are offering, and then they go to a cash buyer and they try to get something between that. So just understand the math and discussion to how we got to $90,000. So again, some of you are going to think and say that that's impossible, Michael. How can you get a $200,000 property for $90,000? Well, I've done lots of them this year already. So there was a house a squatter broke into. They kicked in the back door. The house had no electricity and no running water. The squatters were in there for more than 90 days. And guess what that house looked like? It was a drug, catastrophe, and people doing people things all over the house, and living there in just horrible conditions. They wanted out. There was a house boarded up by an out-of-state owner that probably hadn't been touched in 2 years. And they were continually getting fined for weeds and things of that nature. Another one that I got was a family member was living in it, and they didn't have the heart to kick them out, but they knew that they needed to leave, and they just wanted to sell it and move on. Kids took over a duplex that mom and dad had owned for a long time, and they lived out of state, actually on the East Coast, and they're like, we have no interest in going to Florida or Fresno. We're not going back. We know it's in bad shape. What's the most you'll offer? And I just walked through the math and it worked out. And they said, great, let's go. Again, more deals done. Had an owner of multiple properties that was just a frustrated landlord and wanted out. We did a package deal, and everybody was happy. Another one is a property that needed a new roof, and lots of other issues. And the owner and the tenant were not getting along, and they just wanted out. Another one was a couple of houses owned in what would be called a commercial area, right? These houses were built decades ago before kind of, planning and zoning and all of that. So no owner occupants would go there, but the houses were great. They just were in a commercial area, but they're going to be great rentals for forever, and happy to hold them. So in the end, there's lots of ways and lots of reasons why somebody would sell a $200,000 house for 90 grand. You have to get it inside your head that it is possible. It does take work. And frankly, it takes lots of work. If you're not used to getting told no or having people yell at you or call you crazy, this is not for you, because I would tell you, again, if I make 100 offers, I might get 5 or 6 counters, and then I'll get 50 FUs and, 30, leave me alones and, whatever's left. And I might get 5 or 6 counters to at least initiate discussion. And guess what? Those 5 or 6 are the ones I want to be talking to anyway. So again, best ways to find motivated sellers that might even entertain a 90K offer on a 200K house is you got to talk to lots of owners. You got to talk to the people that actually own the asset. This is why direct mail is a big thing. This is why cold calling is a big thing. This is why door knocking is a big thing. It's because people are trying to insert themselves into a situation where they can actually talk with somebody who owns the asset. Something else you can do is tell everyone in your network, in your work, in your office, gym, wherever you are, that you do real estate and you're looking to pick up distressed assets. You got to keep at this. It's a long game, right? There are people that do 10,000 mailers a month after month after month after month. And, years ago they were getting significant hits rates, and now it's down to a trickle. But this takes time to build. It takes time to get going. It's just a lot. Driving for dollars, if you happen to live in a market where you can do this, I think is great. You drive around, take a picture, look up the owner, and reach out. Maybe even send them the picture and just ask, have you ever thought about selling? Or something I would do instead is I would actually say, hey, my name is blank. I'm a real estate investor looking to buy in the area, and I realized you're an owner. Any suggestions on the neighborhood or some or property that might be up for sale? Right? Maybe don't go head on and ask if they're selling. Maybe just reach out and say, hey, I saw that you were an owner of record in this area. Just curious what you thought of the area. Could we, is there anybody you would think that might be selling? Postcard mailers. I think this was direct mail, said another way. It was very popular 3 or 4 years ago as people were making money hand over fist. I now get dozens a week, so I'm not sure what the return is. And some of you wholesalers out there are actually sending me 15 to 20 postcards a day because apparently you think the shotgun approach works. That's, as somebody who gets those, that's a little frustrating. You might want to clean up your mail list and just send me one instead of 20. Cold calls. This is becoming increasingly popular. I'm getting several calls a week, where before it was 1 or 2 a month. Now they're weekly, and I expect it to be daily as people go through owner of record and say, hey, would you like to sell? Again, that's not how I would do it. I would say, hey, I realize you're an owner of record. Have you, is there anything in the area that you like or don't like? Just try to build a relationship instead of smacking someone in the face saying, I want to buy your distressed asset. There's just a better way of doing it. And again, just network. The more people that know you, know what you do, what you're looking for, the better opportunity you have to get a deal coming your way. In the end, I just wanted to thank you. I wanted to show you the math behind this. If you have a question, please leave it. And there's a very good chance I will add it to the subscriber series that's now taken off on this channel. Hit the like button if you like what we went through. And in the end, please share this video. I think this is a video you might want to send around to people talking about real estate investing so they really understand the math behind a distressed asset. Have a great day.